BookTube, and welcome to another weekly reading vlog. These are the books that I've been working on this week. I've finished up Bring Up the Bodies by Hilary Mantel and reviewed it earlier this week. And if you missed it, I'll link to my review in the description down below. But with that book done, I am now on to the third and final book in Hilary Mantel's Thomas Cromwell trilogy, The Mirror and Light. And I'm on page 54 now, so 54 pages in. I think the pages here are slightly bigger in The Mirror and the Light. So, page counts are not always equal. I think 54 pages in this book may have equaled out to slightly more pages in Bringing Up the Bodies. So the Mirror and the Light. I mentioned in my review of Bring Up the Bodies that I found Bring Up the Bodies easier to read than Wolf Hall. And so far, I'm finding The Mirror and the Light much easier to read than Bring Up the Bodies. It seems like the prose gets simpler with each subsequent book in the trilogy. Or maybe I'm just getting used to it. Or maybe it's too early to tell. I'm only 54 pages in. But finding it very clear and readable and much more my speed, much more like a normal book than certainly Wolf Hall. Now that's to the positive. To the negative, I'm not sure this is quite the narrative tension that its predecessor had. I mean, with Bring Up the Bodies, you were like, oh boy, this is going to get bloody at the end. Anne Boleyn is going down and all these other men are going down with her. Now, of course, The Mirror and the Light, I trust I'm not spoiling anything here. Everybody knows that Thomas Cromwell dies at the end, right? So we've got that coming, but that's not something we really look forward to because he's a character that we've grown to care about. So it's a book maybe where I don't know what the hook is going to be to keep me reading this in the same way that the other two books had hooks. I am enjoying the prose, but part of me is kind of thinking, oh, okay, what's the drive now to keep me hooked on this book? Other than there's some interesting history going on here. So I guess we'll see how it develops. All right, Journey to the West. I read two chapters, chapter 91 and 92, which formed one cohesive story arc or story episode in this volume. As I've been mentioning every week, there's a lot of individual stories that make up this novel. So the story in 91 and 92 is they go to a town in India. They have now crossed the border into India. So they are getting very close to their destination. They're no longer in China. And they go to this land and they meet some of the monks there. And it's funny, the monks in India are very curious about what China is like. They say, oh, we all pray to be reincarnated in China. Or they don't say why. I'm fairly sure, maybe I'll get some more information when I get to the authors afterwards, but I'm fairly sure, the translators afterward, which is in the back of this volume. But I'm fairly sure the people writing this story or making these tales back in China had never been to India. So I think they're just using their imaginations. Anyways, they're in this town, and it's revealed that they have this butter oil, which they burn at a lantern festival to Buddha. While they're burning it, 3 Buddhas appear, and the monk goes to worship them. And the monkey, who always has an eye for these things, knows they're not really Buddhas, they're demons in disguise. He tries to warn the master, but it's too late. The master gets caught by the demons. And this is, I've mentioned this book is repetitive. The monster getting caught by the demons and the monkey having to go and rescue him is we have been here many times before. In fact, it's just about all that ever happens in this book. So the monkey goes and there's, as always, it spans 2 chapters. So about how many pages in total? About 50 pages in total for those 2 chapters. So there's the usual thing where the monkey fights the demons. The demons are too powerful for him, so after fighting them all day, he escapes. He comes back with Pig and Friar Sand. They fight again. Pig and Friar Sand get captured. And then Monkey does what he quite often does. Again, I mentioned this book is repetitive. He goes up to heaven to get reinforcements. And he gets reinforcements from the wooden constellations, which is the wooden dragon, or the wooden lesser dragon, the wooden unicorn, the wooden wolf, and the wooden hyena. Actually, their full names here are wooden lesser dragon of the constellation Horn, the wooden unicorn of the Dipper, the wooden wolf of the Strider, and the wooden hyena of the Well. Now, these constellations have appeared earlier in the book when all 28 constellations were aiding in a big battle, and I forget which one that was. Oh no, I think I do vaguely remember it, but I won't get into that. Earlier in the book, all the 28 constellations from the Chinese zodiac, or the Chinese constellations, had aided in a battle. And I remember at the time thinking that it was weird that there was a constellation of like a wooden wolf, right? Like, okay, fair enough, there's a constellation of a wolf, but why is there a constellation of a wooden wolf? I mean, right, you can imagine, like, I don't know anything about Chinese mythology, but all these things started with ancient people gazing up at the sky and saying, those stars over there look like a Big Dipper. And you can imagine somebody saying, those stars, they look like a wolf. And then there's somebody saying, no, they look like a wooden wolf, is what those constellations look like. Like, how did we get these wooden animals in the constellations? And at the time, I Googled it, and I was looking it up, and I was on Wikipedia, and I was on various websites, and I could find some information about the 28 constellations, but I couldn't find any information about wooden wolf, wooden unicorn, wooden hyena, and wooden dragon. Although I was curious about it when these constellations popped up in earlier chapters. Actually, just now, I thought I would have another go at finding information, and I couldn't really. And part of the problem, perhaps, is that it appears when I go online to double check stuff with this book, it appears that there are different translations. I mean, for example, wooden unicorn. Did they have unicorns in Chinese mythology, or is that like a translation of a different animal or a different mythical beast? But anyways, these wooden constellations have appeared before, and the wooden constellations are sent to go get help. The constellations in the heavenly rulers are able to identify the demons as rhinoceroses, who have like all the other. Yeah, it's one of the repetitive things, but one of the cool things about this book. All of the spirits and demons are animals who have cultivated their conduct using the Taoist meditations, which both humans and animals can do to achieve these superpowers. So there are 3 rhinos, and I've checked this online. And it does seem like rhino is a translation. I guess the Chinese must have known about rhinos. I don't think they had rhinos in China at the time. And now it is mentioned even in this book that the horn of the rhino is valuable, right? because I think it's an ongoing issue now that rhinos are being slaughtered for their horns by poachers in Africa, because in China and maybe in Vietnam as well, there's a trade for their horns on the black market. But yeah, I didn't realize that went all the way back to the 16th century, talking about how the rhino's horn is valuable. So the rhinos, the three rhinos are the three main demons, and then the demons always have a host of lesser demons who help them, and in this case, they're all bovine creatures, cattle and cow and water buffalo, who are the lesser demons. So they go back with the wooden constellations: the wooden wolf, the wooden unicorn, the wooden dragon, and the wooden hyena. The rhinos run as soon as they see them, because I don't know, apparently the wooden constellations are really good at catching rhinos. This is something that is established, or maybe this is something that's just known in Chinese mythology. So there's another big battle. The rhinos run, and then they run into the sea. And then one of the sea creatures, who's referred to as, what is he referred to? A yaka, which is yaksha, which has popped up occasionally. Yaksha seems to be some sort of sea creatures who are servants of the dragons. Now, the dragons in this book are always water creatures. They're associated with the rains. They're associated with the oceans and rivers. I guess, I don't know if that was Chinese mythology generally. I guess it must have been, right? Or I don't know. But one of the dragons learns that there's a battle going on, and that the rhinos have come into the sea, and he thinks, okay, well, I better go and help. So he gets all his soldiers ready. And there's a great little passage here where the dragon is, where is it? Oh, yeah. So a yaksha who was patrolling the Western Ocean with a shelled warrior, so I guess some sort of shelled fish, shellfish who's also a warrior, saw from a distance the way the rhinoceroses were parting the waters, recognized Monkey and the two stars. This is because only two of the stars are pursuing the rhinoceros. The other two are doing some cleanup work. And rushed back to the castle palace. All these dragons have castle palaces under the water. To report to the Dragon King in alarm. Your Majesty, the great sage equaling heaven, that's the monkey, and two stars from the sky are chasing three rhinoceroses this way. You know, as repetitive as this book gets, these are the kind of things I really love. So there's a monkey and two stars, which are wooden constellations, chasing three rhinoceroses into the sea, and then now a dragon is getting involved. Isn't that, what more could you want in a book, huh? When the old Dragon King, Ao Shun, heard this, he said to his heir, Prince Moan, both dragons I'm assuming, muster our water forces at once. I'm sure it must be the three rhinoceros spirits, Cold Avoider, Heat Avoider, and Dust Avoider. Those are the names of the rhinoceros spirits, who provoked Sun the Novice. Sun the Novice, again, is the monkey. As they're in the sea now, we'd better lend a hand. Having been giving his orders, Ao Muang hastened to muster his troops. So he's getting all the water soldiers ready. A moment later, a fully armed force of tortoises, soft-shelled turtles, alligators, brim, mackerel, mandarin fish, carp and prawn, and crab soldiers charged out of the Crystal Palace, shouting their battle cries to stop the rhinoceros. So if you've been watching these weekly reading vlogs, this is not the first case where we've had all the animals of the underwaters mustered for battle by the dragons. We've had a couple other passages like this. And I don't know, maybe I've just been watching too much Finding Nemo or 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, or I don't know. But there's something about the aquatic life which just captures my imagination. So to imagine under the in the mysterious depths of the ocean, a whole army consisting of tortoises, soft-shelled turtles, alligators, brim, mackerel, mandarin, fish, carp, prawn, crab, soldiers, all going forward into battle. In previous chapters, I think that they've even described the weapons that all these underwater animals have when they go into battle. Not in this one. So they battle and they capture the rhinoceroses. Now the monkey wants to take them alive initially, but the wooden hyena can't help himself. The dragon is yelling Wellstar. Wellstar is the wooden hyena. Moen shouted. Moen is the prince dragon. Don't kill him. The great sage monkey wants him alive, not dead. Moen shouted several times, but by then the hyena, this is the wooden hyena, had already gnawed right through the monster's throat. So I guess the hyena is just always hungry, I guess. I don't know. It's not really explained. I'm assuming that the hyena is just constantly wanting to bite stuff up. So the wooden hyena got a little bit out of control and bit through the throat of one of the rhinoceroses. They take the other back, and first they catch another rhinoceros. So the other rhinoceros is running straight in, and Moan, the dragon, ordered his tortoises, soft-shelled turtles, and alligators to spread out in a winnowing fan formation to encircle the monster. This is the rhinoceros. So, I mean, again, not to belabor the point, but I'm going to go ahead and belabor the point. You've got 4 wooden animals being led by the monkey, chasing 3 rhinoceros demons into the ocean, where there's 2 dragons and then an army of ocean creatures. Those scenes, I think, are why I've stuck with this book through 2,130 pages, despite the fact that the stories themselves are very repetitive. That kind of imagination is what makes this book so delightful. So that's finished off here. Finished off chapter 92, starting chapter 93 for next time. And then Thor Epic Collection, War of the Gods. I've not made great progress on this, but I have read about, 40 pages. So Odin has gone mad, and it's revealed, I think I talked about this in last week's weekly reading vlog. It's revealed that the reason Odin has gone mad is because it's not really Odin. It's the Mangog in disguise, one of Thor's enemies. So they fight him. Thor defeats him, but then where is Odin? They're looking for Odin. So they're not sure if Odin is alive or dead. So Thor goes to Valhalla to seek out Odin, where he has to fight the warriors of Valhalla. And this, even though I read so little of this, this is great fun. Like I've said in previous weekly reading vlogs, I never read Thor as a kid. I was not a big Marvel fan as a kid, but I regret it. It looks like I've missed out on a lot of great. These particular issues were from before I was born, anyways. But just the whole Viking mythology as part of one of the mainstream Marvel heroes. Just great fun. Hopefully I'll get more time to read more of that this week. And yeah, that's all my reading for this week. So I will see you next week, BookTube. Thank you very much.